Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Blue White Player Show presented by our friends at Ciocca Dealership. I already have Goon laughing. I'm Aeneas Hawkins.
Not that hard, baby.
It's a pleasure to have you all back with us again today. Goon, I got to ask you, it's been a little while.
A little bit.
What has the great Goon been up to?
Well, I mean, the last show we had was Thanksgiving Monday.
Yes, it was.
So we had a lot of Thanksgiving turkey dinners. Some fantastic dinner. And then I went down to New Orleans this past weekend to celebrate a friend of mine's wedding. So
there you go. How was New Orleans?
Absolutely amazing.
What was your favorite part of the New Orleans trip?
It didn't stop. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think I made it past 9 o'clock, 9:30, and all the 4 nights I was there. And that was after dinners and everything. It was just like, you just went all day, had a good time, and it was just like you're walking around bar to bar, music, laughing, eating. I mean, the cuisine is just off the charts. Loved that like you wouldn't believe. It was just like, I'm an oyster guy to begin with, and then the multiple different ways to eat them down there, and then the jambalaya, the Creoles, the gumbo.
Did you get any gumbo while you were down there? That was gonna be my question.
First meal we had, man. It was a 3-for. It was red beans and rice.
Okay,
that's from Creole.
Okay, and
then the jambalaya. And it was just like big bowl of each, and my wife, she tried to dip her spoon back a third time, and I said, "Back off,
that's
back off, Carrie-Ann. You don't know what that means." But yeah, we're down with some great friends, celebrating a great friend of us, a state college guy, Troy Allen, and his wife Nikki. So, longtime friends of ours. So it was a great time to be down there. Had a good time. Traveling back was a little bad. I mean, I got stuck in the Philadelphia area for a night, which is not an uncommon thing anymore.
Yeah.
And then we're here.
We're here.
Got the show rocking and rolling. So what has the Hawk been doing?
Well, a couple things. Before we get to that, you mentioned...
I've seen you like 950 different shows. I'm like...
It never stops. It never stops. Geez. Not a lot of sleeping.
You get like McAfee over here.
I'm trying to get... Like, if I can get anything close to what McAfee's doing, I'd be thrilled. But
get paid a tenth of what McAfee's getting paid.
We're good for life.
Yeah.
But no, you bring up great friends. You bring up New Orleans. My best friend, PJ Mustaford, was with the Denver Broncos practice squad, and he called me 2 days ago with the news that he made the New Orleans Saints active roster.
That's awesome.
He is going to play in his first couple NFL games this season. So that is one big thing that's happened since we've last talked.
Yep.
Not quite as big as what happened back home on Thanksgiving. My mom absolutely did her thing, as always. Mama Hawk, I know you're watching. Again,
Hawk.
Thank you for the performance. She was actually distraught. She was distraught Thanksgiving night, and she was unhappy that you didn't come back home with me for Thanksgiving. She was under the impression that maybe you'd be there.
It's not enough. There's not a bag big enough to store me. You know what I mean? You can't like bring me home in your baggage.
No
you know what I mean?
You're not going to fit all my carry-on. I think we've discovered that.
You sure?
We could check again.
I was a lot more flexible as I was younger, but as I'm getting older, I'm like, I'm hurt.
You're losing a little bit.
Yeah. So, by the way, if everybody hears a loud smashing noise every once in a while, it's our golf simulators here at the Penn State golf course, and they are rocking and rolling right now. So
they look pretty sweet, man.
I know, dude. I mean, I want to go up there and see if I can blow a disc out or two.
I was about to say,
hit a couple balls. So,
I'd swing that club, my knee would go with the ball.
Yeah,
so
buddy.
That'd be it. It's fun to watch, though. We're watchers.
So every once in a while, you'll see me and Hawk. It's like, whoa, what's that? It's like some guy hitting a 912-yard drive. So
there it is again.
Yeah, 912. There we go. Straight down the middle, baby.
Good. We got to talk. We missed a game here. Michigan State, Penn State. That was
was it even a game?
I mean, it was a game to me because I've waited all season long to watch the offense play the way it did that Saturday against Sparty. It was really good to see Drew do some good things. The running game, Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton looked like Kaytron Allen and Nick Singleton. Jaywan Sider, Ty Howell deserve a lot of credit doing some good things. What did you see offensively that was exciting?
My question is, do you think that they were told, let's open it up and have some fun here? I mean, Sparty really didn't offer any kind of fight whatsoever, and I think our defense was like, hey, we got this. Yeah. As you can tell within the last 30 seconds of the game, Manny and James were still yelling at our players and stuff like that to preserve that shutout. I mean, that's pride. I mean, that's a big old pride thing. You're a defensive guy, but
definitely a pride thing. And they go in there with a plan as if every game is going to be close. But I'm sure they were able to deem within the first 2-3 drives that they had a good opportunity to blow that team out, which they did.
Yeah.
And I will also say defensively, you talk about a performance. A guy that I want to give a shout out to that I think has done a tremendous job on the defensive staff is Deion Barnes. the beginning of the year, we all had questions about whether or not he was ready for that big of a role. He was a GA before that. He's a young guy, and he gets promoted to the D-line coach, which doesn't happen that way often. In his unit, I saw the number pop up during the game. It was at like 48 or 49 sacks in year one. I mean, there's not much of a better debut you can have.
Yeah, I mean, James was saying earlier in the year how much he wowed them in his interview. And, you don't know if that was a true thing or not, or he was just trying to light a fire under his butt and this and that. But it seems to have been the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, Deion is really just that defensive line. I mean, I don't recall, not your era, not really my era, just a dominant, just numbers-wise.
No.
I mean, holding people to minus yards a couple different times. And this is not, it wasn't just UMass and Delaware were doing that too. I mean, you did it to Michigan State.
No doubt. They did it to a bunch of schools this year. They did it. I think there were dominant D-line units in my era, in the Sean Spencer era, where maybe you'd see him have a ton of sacks one year. Maybe the next year, then they'd be really good against the run. But the combination of the two that we saw this year definitely was not the case in my era.
Yeah, and you look around right now. I mean, I was here when you had Spence as your coach, and look at him jumping around. He loses the Florida job, and boom, Elijah, who was here when I was coaching, my guy, one of my favorite players of all time, Elijah takes the Syracuse DC job, and Spence goes in and takes the D-line job with Texas A&M. It's great, and Deion's sitting here still at Penn State, so absolutely perfect. I think he's up for a renegotiation and a possible raise.
Yeah, I think it's time to pay Deion Barnes whatever he wants. Give him a blank check, him and Manny Diaz.
What are you thinking about Duke? Are you think it's going to go? Do you think they're going to pull the trigger on Manny?
I would not be surprised if they did. I think Manny would do an outstanding job at Duke. The question becomes, is Duke a promising enough place for Manny Diaz to leave Penn State to go coach there? I think he's going to have another elite defense next year. They're recruiting well. You know what you're going to get. There's some safety with Penn State, but at the same time, I could see Manny Diaz going to Duke and having a lot of immediate success. He's a culture guy. People want to play hard for him. I could see him having some success there, but I'm hoping my guy stays in the blue and white, the right blue and white, that is.
He's a Miami guy. He comes to State College. It's two huge monster programs. Me and you were only separated by 2 or 3 years in this. So, you're 48, I understand. So you've been around the block a few times like I have. So this is not the first time that Duke has peaked. And then within a year or two, they go back down. I mean, in my high school year, Steve Sperry was the head coach. So he had them rocking and rolling, and they were on the cusp, and then coach leaves, and then boom, right back down to the doldrums of the ACC. So I wonder if Manny will look at the history like that and say, okay, I can hold off here and then maybe even get a Big Ten job next year or a SEC type of job.
That's my thought.
Yes, I think that Manny and his name and what he's done the last few years, I think he's a little bit bigger and better than Duke.
Yes.
And I just don't want him to just run out and take the first job. I mean, I know he's probably had offers from some MAC schools or some AAC type of schools. And I mean, the ACC, as we saw on Sunday morning, they're not really respecting the ACC too much in the NCAA conferences and stuff like that. Right. So, does he sit back and say, okay, it's going well for Duke right now, but it's done that before in the last 30 years, and it's just going to fluctuate. He doesn't want to go to a program that's going to flame out quick.
No doubt about it. And it's similar. So I'm from Cincinnati. I'm a Cincinnati Bearcat fan. Even today, I love the Bearcats. I grew up rooting for them, whatever. The trend with Cincinnati, similar to Duke, is
I got you.
They'll get a really good football coach. They'll be good for a year or two.
Great lineage of coaches
and
there.
They have, Mark D'Antonio, Luke Fickell, Brian Kelly. It's all over the place. Butch Jones. But again, that coach leaves, the program fizzles out. And I think there are coaches that have to take that step and maybe go to a Duke before they go back to a Power 5. But Manny Diaz already has the Miami experience.
I think he does. And he was in a weird situation in Miami.
Yes, he was.
Well, he came in after Al. And it was like those weird sanctions that they took the beating that North Carolina should have gotten.
Yep.
But then they gave it to Maryland and then said North Carolina's okay. They gave it to Duke and then said North Carolina's fine.
Exactly.
I'll never understand it.
No, it makes no sense. I don't understand a lot of things about college football these days. How Michigan has not received a more strenuous ban at this point is still ridiculous.
Once they beat Ohio State, they pretty much just stopped talking about this whole
Nobody cares.
No one.
Nobody's
like,
cares until the playoffs are after.
It's ridiculous.
I agree.
How the college football works. You and I mean, we could sit here for the next 2 hours. Oh, by the way, which we are planning on doing is, it's cyclical because it's like sort of the same thing happened to us in '94 with we got left out in the cold, and it was like, well, why?
Right.
And then you can't fault Florida State.
Yeah, let's get into that debacle.
You can't fault Alabama. I mean, it's not Alabama's players or coaches' fault. I don't think Saban was politicking.
No.
Not out loud. I mean, I'm sure he was behind the scenes saying, get us in there type of thing. And, I mean, the 4-letter network, let's not kid ourselves. They own the SEC. So, like, they literally own the SEC network type of thing. So, of course, they're going to want one of their babies in there. And I did hear that the number I heard was if Alabama wasn't actually going to be in the playoff, it may have been $150 million swing.
I believe it.
So there's your answer of why and what happened. But it just stinks for Florida State because those kids are sitting there. Here I am 30 years still talking about 1994.
Yeah.
Saying, wow, we did everything we had to do.
And we
won 11-0.
It's a recreated situation with these Florida State kids.
Sure.
30 years down the line, they'll be having the same conversation on their not as good show
what I can't believe, and this drives me absolutely nuts, and I could not believe that the guy said it. The guy in charge of the bowl, the playoff, said it was 100% because the quarterback got hurt, and if he hadn't gotten hurt, they would have been in the playoff. And it's like, dude, the kid feels bad enough already.
Right. Why?
He's physically hurting because he has an ACL blown out, I guess, Yeah. And now you just killed him and said, well, your teammates are not going to the playoff because you got hurt. I mean, that's just the optics of the whole thing is
it's a bad look. It's insane. The era itself is crazy. But I want to ask you this. I want to play a little devil's advocate here.
You're good at it.
Do you really want to see a Florida State Seminole team with their third-string quarterback in the college football playoff? You evaluate the 4 best teams. Okay. Can you, in good conscience, say that you feel like Florida State was one of them and they deserve to be in
Did you think that TCU and their quarterback play?
I did not. That's fair too.
But they ended up beating Michigan in the.
They did. Then what happened the next week?
Exactly. That's exactly what Michigan should have done. They should have stolen. They stole the wrong game plan.
Yeah, they were locked on the wrong game plan. Clearly,
they were making calls for against Ohio State and Georgia when they were playing TCU. So,
and I also another thing I want to say. I know we're running out of time here, but it's important. I get the Georgia loses to Alabama. I think 6th ranked Alabama at the time.
It's ridiculous, right?
They had won 27 straight football games.
And then everybody's like, "Oh, they're gone. They're done.
Alabama, they're done. They're ranked number 6 in the country."
And Ohio State loses to the number 1 team in the country by 6 points.
What are we
and they're like
about?
Ohio State and Georgia were like, "Oh, well, it's like." It goes back to when I was playing, and that is it's when you lose.
Yep, that's all that matters.
And then I'm sitting down there in New Orleans in a sports book on Sunday, getting ready for the NFL games. I'm watching the college football playoff stuff, and then I'm like, Texas comes in at 3, and I'm like, of course now they have to say that Alabama lost to the number 3 ranked team because if they had put Florida State at 3, and Florida State should have been 3.
Yep.
As an undefeated conference championship winner.
Champion, yeah.
And then they say that their third-team quarterback who played on Saturday did not play that well. But guess what? Their backup quarterback would be back
He would be back. That's another factor that's relevant. He would have been back.
He would have been back, and he was doing very, very, very well.
Yep.
I just, and then everybody seems to forget the Auburn game.
Right.
I mean, it literally took a last-second Hail Mary from the 35-yard line.
An Auburn team who lost to or was about to. I mean, they lost to. Who did they just?
They lost to somebody like New Mexico State. Yeah, they lost to them by like 30 points. They were like a 25-point favorite and lost by 20 plus.
Yep.
It was the largest swing in the history of in spreads.
Somebody made a lot of money that day. I don't know who it was. I wish it was me.
But I mean, think about that. I mean, if 2 weeks before. Auburn is beating Alabama. They're 1 play from beating them, and then all of a sudden, they're the 4th best team, no doubt about it. I mean, they probably are, no doubt about it. But it's like, yes, they are, but they lost a game. Florida State did not lose a game.
Right. In fairness, it should have been Florida State.
Absolutely,
there's no question about
it. And then then it goes down to Texas and Alabama, but Alabama lost to Texas head up.
Yep.
So that came into play. So that's as soon as I saw Texas at 3, I said they're done.
Yep.
Now, it's going to be Bama, no doubt.
I do want to ask you this. We'll set Florida State aside. Obviously, it's a travesty what happened to them. But did you get to see the video of Michigan finding out they were going to have to play Alabama instead of Florida State?
Do you think – okay, that's a great question. Do you think that was, oh, my God, we're playing Alabama, or, oh, my God, Florida State got screwed? Because I could read it both ways.
You could read it both ways, and I didn't think about it that way. But my opinion, the way they all gasped and nobody smiled and nobody really had much to say was we got to play Alabama now. We didn't think we'd have to play Alabama. I think that there might be some nervousness there. I do think it's going to be a great football game. I am excited to see the playoffs. I'm excited about Washington. Mike Penix, I've been pounding my fist on the table about since he was the quarterback at Indiana. As my good friend Jerry Cross walks in the building, man. Not to tease the fans here, but it's going to get exciting. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good playoff. I'm excited for the 12-team format.
Sure.
I saw a mock-up of what it would have looked like this year. A rematch with Penn State and Ohio State would have been nothing short of electric at this point of the year. So there's still some good things ahead, some good things to look forward to.
I mean, just think about the last 6 or 7 years at Penn State if there was a 12-team playoff.
I mean, how many we may have been in almost every one of them.
What I think is being killed with the 12-team playoff is the out-of-conference powerhouse games.
Yep.
I think that they've gone by the wayside. I think no one's going to schedule those anymore because you're already playing a Power 5 conference 9-game schedule, and then you got to put 3 more in there.
I would never schedule.
Why would you schedule an LSU, a Texas type of thing? There's no reason to do it anymore.
No, and if you look at Penn State's schedule next year, there's a 5-game stretch in the middle of the season.
Absolutely,
that is going to be daunting. To say
very reminiscent of what the Eagles are going through right now. Have you seen their 6-week?
Your poor Eagles. I didn't see the past 6 weeks, but I saw that they played
Dolphins,
the 49ers,
Bills, Cowboys, Chiefs.
It's nuts.
And then they played the 49ers, and they got the Cowboys this week.
And they got the playoffs coming up.
They had a gauntlet right there, man. So if anybody going through there, sitting there saying if the Eagles had gone through and won those 6 or 7 games in a row, there's no way that was going to happen. So
no doubt. I want to ask you before we get out of this segment, we have some offensive guys here that are going to come on, and we'll talk to them about it too. But obviously, Penn State brings on a new offensive coordinator out of Kansas. Have you seen, or not Kansas? Was he at Kansas?
Kansas.
I'm blanking. He was at Buffalo before that. We played against him. Have you been able to watch him at all? Are you excited about the hire? How are you feeling?
I know that they had honored our team at the halftime of the Buffalo game, and we were sitting there going, "What the hell's going on here?" They're hanging in with us right now.
No doubt.
I mean, that was a tied to a tight game at halftime when we played Buffalo a couple years ago.
I was mad. I put a bunch of tape on. I thought I was going to get to play that day. That we were in a barn burner with Buffalo.
Hold on. What do you mean a bunch of tape? So you would put less tape on if you were playing a big team?
If I wasn't,
come on, man.
Follow me.
Hawk,
if we were playing a big team, I knew I wasn't going to play because we weren't going to blow them out, Goon. So I would only put tape on when we play a MAC school or we play Idaho because I knew I had to be ready to go in the game. I didn't do that against Ohio State. That's false hope, and I don't believe in that, Goon.
So you just stood on the sidelines with no tape, nothing on?
No tape. Double socked up.
My true freshman
bracing.
year, we went down to play Temple at home, and Joe traveled me, and then I came out, had tape up my arms and my gloves, my fingers all taped. My brothers are like, "Dude, you're not playing. What the hell are you doing all dressed up like that for?" I'm not getting in the game, you know.
No doubt.
Blood. There's no blood going on my arms.
If you're wearing tape for no reason. I'll tell you one trick I had right before we get to the break here. You know how you do the alma mater at the end of the game? You're in front of the student section, and there's all these people you want to impress. What I would do and what Devon Elise would do before he was playing is at the end of the game, we'd reach down real quick by the bench and take some grass and we rub our hands real quick. That way we were doing
That's stolen valor, dude.
Call it what you want. But they thought I played. That's all that mattered. At the end of the day. I had parties to get into after the game. They weren't going to let me in if I hadn't.
Were you going to have like pieces of grass in your hand? Like, hey, this is just a piece of Beaver Stadium.
I'd leave it on.
I ain't showered yet. I haven't showered yet. Yeah,
I would rather look dirty than look like I was on the scout team. That's where I was at in my career. That's as real as it gets for you.
Hawk, you're gonna lose a lot of money to a shrink one day. I'm like borderline Frazier right now,
right?
As your early stage shrink right now.
It's all right, man. Call it what you want.
Like you're laying on a couch 15 years ago. I used to rub dirt on my pants just to make it look like I played.
It's all part of the story, man. It's part of the narrative.
Absolutely. Well, it didn't matter.
No, it didn't matter at all. It didn't matter even a little bit, but it's okay.
All right, so I got to tell a story,
please.
You know how you walk out of the locker room and there's a bunch of kids and people screaming and this and that. So,
in the tunnel.
Yeah, we had some non-dressed guys who would come in and walk-on type of guys, not really playing.
Right.
You'd call them run-ons. They were walk-ons to us and this and that, but they were like scout team guys, and they're never going to touch the field ever. But they're on a team.
Yep.
It is what it is.
Okay.
So they would somehow, I remember Spider getting mad one time going, "I can't believe how many wristbands we go through in a weekend anymore." So these guys were stealing packs of wristbands and packing their sweatshirts up, and they were walking out in the crowd and they're throwing these things, and like little kids are like diving over and like punching people for these things, and they're like, "Who the hell was that? Wow, who was that? Who was that?" And you're like, "Yeah, he didn't touch the field. Don't worry about it." So Spider finally figured it out, and that was the last time those kids ever got near. He was like, "Don't even ask me for a shoelace.
Yeah,
you're getting nothing."
Well, it's impossible now. I don't know how it is now. Maybe we can ask these guys. When I was playing, if you weren't playing in the games, you better not even go up to the equipment room. You better not. Ciocca Tony, thank God for him. He would go up and make sure that I had hand warmers and coats because I wasn't going to play. They wouldn't give them to me. If you're not playing, they're not just handing the gear.
You're like the fat little brother everybody wants to take care of. Like, I don't want Aeneas being cold out there. I better get some hand warmers for him. Come on, man.
That's incredible, man. I just had good teammates, man. That's how I was attributed. We'll be right back on the Blue White Player Show. We've got some special guests in the house. Stay tuned. We will be back in a few minutes.
And 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Ciocca Dealerships. Experience the difference.
Hi everybody, Mike the Mailman here to tell you about a state college company that will help you follow the Nittany Lions to their bowl game. Collegiate Athletic Travel. From charter flights and on-site motor coaches to professional staff, the entire trip is easy and carefree. And with their 47 years in the business, you know you're in good hands. You'll get a game ticket and a lot more. Make memories to last a lifetime. Be there next time with Collegiate Athletic Travel.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freaking Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, Still Not Canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Is it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now, only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss him.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, Still Not Canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Blue White Player Show. I'm Aeneas Hawkins. That is Keith Goon Conlon, and we're here with the future New England Patriots All-Pro, Liam Clifford, wide receiver out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Liam, how are we feeling today, brother?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling good. You know, we were just talking. We've had a little time off after the season, so it's been good to kind of relax and unwind. But obviously, still have some practices here and there and some workouts, and then back to practice tomorrow. So
yeah. I want to talk about your career a little bit. Obviously, I was a teammate of yours when you were a really young guy. You came out of Cincinnati. So paint a picture about your recruitment coming into Penn State. Obviously, your brother having had played here, and then we'll get into your time at Penn State itself.
Yeah, so really me coming up, I played quarterback my whole life, all the way up until going into my freshman year of high school. I broke my leg, missed that whole year, and then going into my sophomore year, they had a guy that was a really good baseball player, committed to Kentucky for baseball, who was playing quarterback at the time. And I hadn't played for the last year, so they were like, how about you try out receiver for a little bit? Turned out, went pretty well. Ended up starting my sophomore year. And then after that season, started getting some looks, some traction. I ended up getting offered by Michigan that offseason, which really kind of jump-started my recruiting process. And then from there, kind of just went on. I always tell people this. I actually never wanted to really go to Penn State just because I wanted to go somewhere different than my brother. We went to the same high school.
Yeah.
So I really kind of wanted to start to branch off and just start my own path in a sense. But I then came to camp here going into, I think it was my junior year during that summer. And that's when I then earned a scholarship while I was at the camp here. And really just the feeling of I always loved it here just because of Sean, but it kind of started to feel different. The transition of just the way the coaches felt about me, the way they brought me in, the family aspect that everybody talks about. I really started to notice it after that camp. And then probably 6 months later, I committed after the whiteout game. We played Michigan and we won. So it was pretty fun. It was exciting. It was a moment I'll never forget. And then now I'm here.
I'm very similar in you. I had an older brother play here in the mid '80s. So every time I went somewhere to visit, I would I was interviewed 1,000 times in high school, and it was like what I'd do is compare everybody to Penn State, because that's what you were related to. That's what that's where you were used to. That's what you had seen with your brother here, and him being a 31-year-old sophomore. He had been here 11 years already. So, you guys didn't have much time growing up together because he was in college when you were born, right? I mean, oh man, it's great. So, but I mean, honestly, you're sitting there talking about it. I mean, it's like there's no doubt. I in my head when I was getting recruited, I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't want to go to Penn State because I want to. My brother's an All-American here. Maybe I want to forge my own path, type of thing. And then when you got around, you go to different places. I visited Florida State, Maryland. Miami, Florida, Syracuse. I went to all these different schools, and I was like, you know what? That's not as good as Penn State. That's not as good as Penn State. Penn State got better at that. Penn State got better at that. And I felt at home here with the family. That's the one thing that I believe that Franklin has transferred that we had with the Paterno era and that the Bill O'Brien era, and it's always been a tight little family here. Always.
Absolutely.
Like even when you guys come back and you see all the old men, I mean, you're doing the same thing we had done. So as Letterman, we all have that in common.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you, I mean, obviously Sean played here. You talked about that already, but, as you've gotten older, do you feel like you've been able to kind of create your own identity and your own swagger within that locker room and with that coaching staff?
Yeah, I'd say that was obviously something probably the first year I struggled with a little bit. Just kind of expecting that too when I went in. I kind of knew that was going to be something that I had to deal with. But again, going back to really why I chose Penn State, I couldn't pass up on the opportunity to play with him. It was something we've jumped up ever since we were little. So I wouldn't trade it for the world. But then kind of moving into my second year, starting to play a little bit on special teams, a little bit rotating in. And then last year, starting to have an impact, making some plays is when I really started to feel like I started making a name for myself. And then within the locker room, obviously him leaving and then me kind of stepping into more of a leadership role helped. So I knew it would take time. I knew it was something that I was willing to fight for, though. And it's always been something that's motivated me, honestly, is to kind of make a name for myself as well. Being at the same high school, I dealt with the same thing. So
you're used to it.
Coming here, I was used to it as well. So again, like I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world, though.
I've always said that being a second member of a family, or a third, because I had a younger brother who went here, as soon as you get here, they almost expect like you to be Sean from like day one. And I was like, dude, I'm not Sean. I'm never going to be Sean.
Yep.
I'm Liam. I am who I am. I'm different. I mean, you guys actually play different positions, so that's okay. I mean, me and my brother played the same. We were on the offensive line type of thing, and I never got to play with my older brother. But you said you and Sean had on the field together at times?
Yeah, we did. There was a couple of plays we got where we were on the field together, and I think I caught 2 or 3 passes from him as well.
Did you ask for that to get on the field? Was it mentioned to the staff, or it just happened?
It was not. It just happened.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was back with Parker last year. So.
I had my last game in January 96. We were destroying Auburn, and they start bringing the second team guys, and I'm like, I'm like, just throw my little brother out here for one play. Let me play next to him for one play. We hadn't played together since high school, but it didn't happen. But it was one of those things I was like, damn, I wish it had happened. But that's pretty cool that you had caught passes from him and all.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
I want to ask you about the Michigan State game. You guys obviously found a bunch of success. You guys were able to do pretty much whatever you wanted offensively in that game. We know that you guys have grinded through some some hiccups offensively, and you've continued to strive for excellence. And you guys did a really good job of that against Michigan State. So I want to ask you, with Jaywan Sider and Ty Howe stepping into that role, how are you guys able to kind of mesh together and push forward to go find that success?
Yeah, I think Coach Sider and Coach Howe did an unreal job just kind of taking that role that they were able to step into and just run with it. I think the biggest thing for us was just kind of keeping it simple, the game plan simple, but playing to everybody's strengths. They really did a good job of making the game plan specific to the specific guys of, okay, this guy can run past people, let's go put him on a deep route, or this guy can do up routes, whatever it may be, little intermediate stuff, get Drew going, get the receivers going. And then obviously Nick and Fat had a huge game that game, as well as the O-line. So they just did a great job of playing to everybody's strengths, which overall I think they did they helped it by keeping it simple as well, which helped.
Practice-wise, what changed up? Was there much of a change in obviously not the verbiage. That wouldn't have changed, but like, I don't know, was there like a little pep in the step of the offense that week after Yurcich went?
I wouldn't say much changed really. Every week nothing changes. I would say that there was guys that really wanted to do well for Coach Ty.
Yeah,
Coach
that's the thing,
because they're very well respected within the program. But overall, there wasn't much of a change. It was another week. We knew we had to get the job done to then set ourselves up for the best possible bowl game. So.
Yeah, I'm sitting here laughing. I'm like, you got a running backs coach and a tight ends coach who was an offensive lineman, and they're like, they're going to go to the run eventually. I mean, they're going to start hammering people down. So, but then they open the field. I mean, obviously, when you do get that run game going, the passing game opens up so much.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's like the defense is going to sit there. I mean, obviously Michigan knows if it's the pass or run, but I mean, that's a big thing. So if you're sitting on run and you guys are passing because they got to put 8 men in the box. We talk about all the time. Like, pick your poison. You want to stop the run game or you want to stop the passing game. So I like it. It looked like you guys were having fun.
Yeah,
it seemed like to me. I know the Michigan game was tough, and that's a huge game. So you're not really going to be having fun in that type of game. But at the end of the year, you guys are like sitting there, and just let it out, roll it out there, and have some fun with it. And I think that those guys did a great job with it.
No, it was a fun game, and I would say too, you were talking about complementary football, the run game, the pass game, the O-line, the quarterbacks. I think that was a game where it kind of all came together. And that's probably why it was a fun game. I won't lie. It was cool to see everybody kind of eat.
All right, here we go. On to the important thing. How was Thanksgiving handled for you?
That is a good question.
I gotta know, man. So it's a Friday. No. Unprecedented in my era. I know that we used to play Pitt back in the day on Friday.
Yeah. So they usually in the years past, on Thursday we'll have a walkthrough, and then we'll all go over and eat at Pollock where we eat at. But it was all pushed up a day, so we did that on Wednesday.
Okay.
Had our walkthrough on Wednesday. Went over. All the families were there and everything. Ate, and then we woke up the next day, had a quick practice, got on the plane, and then that was pretty much it. It worked out well for me because my brother played at Fort Field the night before.
Yeah.
They played the Lions, so my parents were down there for that game, and then we obviously played the next day. So that was pretty cool for them to be able to see both of us both Thursday and Friday night.
Wow. Shout out the Clifford parents, by the way. I just saw your parents walk into the game, and I'm like, man, you guys have been here for like 10 years, dog. You still got some time left coming to these games.
Yeah.
They are troopers. All kinds of football to watch. New offensive coordinator in the house. Has he been around the facility yet? Have you gotten to talk to him? What's the vibe like?
Yeah, he's around. So he's here. He's here up to the bowl game, obviously, and then he's here to stay. So I actually just met with him earlier today. That's kind of where I was coming from. But he's awesome, man. So so far he's come in, he's done a great job with really being hands-on, one-on-one with everybody. His job right now until the bowl game is really just to get to know people and create relationships with everybody. Sure. But so far everything I've seen from him, I like him a lot. He's a good dude.
And you're going to ball out for him as on a practice. He's sitting there watching, and he's the man next year, so he's watching. So you're going to get that extra effort. So
always, yeah. But no, I like him a lot so far. He's a good dude.
So the only thing, you think now you had you say your families were up for Thanksgiving, so they came in. They invite the families up on Wednesday for the Thanksgiving dinner.
So our coaches' families.
Yeah.
None
of the
players' families were there.
I was going to say because that was always a damn good meal. I remember that one.
Yeah.
But getting on the plane the next day was a little rough, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Got 125 people on there. Turkey Day, a little.
I don't even need that visual. I was telling them about do they still play that song?
Visual.
They still play that song at the walkthrough before Thanksgiving, the beans, greens, tomatoes, potatoes. Is that still a thing?
Meeting.
Yeah, it's never over.
By the way, my wife did make me listen to that song.
It's a good song.
And I was like, what in the hell is this? And that's torture, first of all.
I said that on the show.
I know you did. And I was like, what are you
talking
talking about? I have no idea.
Song? So
then I'm listening to it, and I'm like, what in the hell is this about? Why are we listening to this? And then I sat there and said, that's sadistic, man. Like putting that on Thanksgiving for you guys, man, that's torture.
It is torture.
I don't hear it really, and then I hear it every year the same day, and you're kind of sitting there in the meeting room like, how about
no doubt.
There are songs in your lifetime, boys, that you will hear, and it will revert back to a place, and you'll be like, dude.
Thank you to the specific.
Oh my God! I remember Penn State practice. I could not believe. I hate this song.
That'll definitely.
We had a song they'd always play in Lions Den called "Hard in the Paint" by a guy named Waka Flocka Flame, and if that song comes on to this day, I'm talking about to this day, goosebumps immediately. Fight or flight kicks in. It's incredible.
Is that PTSD?
It's PTSD. Yeah, it's definitely PTSD, man.
No, I'm worried about Hawk, man.
You said what?
Yeah, I'm worried about Hawk.
There's no reason
Clifford Brown's going to take care of you, I think. I mean.
Well, let's actually talk about that because I know you're joking, but let's talk about the business side of things. Liam and I were not only teammates, but now we're business partners too, Goon. I know you've been asking guys about their NIL all year long. Liam and I co-founded with Sean a marketing agency strictly dedicated to NIL. So, Liam, obviously NIL is a changing landscape. You see all your teammates doing it, you're doing it yourself, and you're running a company regarding NIL. What have you seen in the NIL landscape, and where do you think things are going to head in the future?
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot. There's been a lot of changes and tweaks here and there from the beginning. I still think it's a very unknown space, but I think there's a lot of positives and negatives to it. I think that, like I love talking about Nick Dawkins as a perfect example of someone who's really taken an NIL and just ran with it.
Yep.
He's a guy who's created tons of relationships through NIL, and then not only that, he took over his father, who sadly passed away years ago, Daryl Dawkins. He took over his nonprofit, the Dawkins Family Foundation, and he's done a ton of good with that. So. It's cool. I mean, it's cool to see guys kind of be able to find passions outside of sports, just like me and Sean did, and as well as you. And I love not just bouncing ideas off of guys like that in the locker room, especially Doc. But there's a lot of positives and negatives to it, just like everything. But it is an ever-changing landscape, and I do think kind of coming down the pipe in the next years or so, there's going to be some big changes. I don't know what they will be at all.
About monitoring it,
but. That's
yeah. I mean, how about somebody like watching over it? And I mean, it's something. I mean, I'm not downplaying it at all. And I'm actually happy. I mean, I tell these guys all the time, it's the greatest thing that ever happened. But I do want it monitored because we sort of turned into the pay for play. I mean, what do you feel about that being involved with the NIL stuff? I mean,
yeah, I think that college athletes do deserve something just from the.
They deserve a lot more than something. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, the time and effort that we put into it, and then for the longest period of time that guys weren't able to make any money off of it, and how much schools, like just somebody like you. So it's cool to see that now being a thing. But you're right. There's got to be some sort of moderation within that. And again, I'm not the guy to answer that question. I don't know what that may be. But I do think something will be coming down the pipe soon because you got to be.
So you're involved in the whole NIL. So did you see what the president of NCAA is talking about out in Vegas this week?
Just recently, I saw something about it with the
university.
Pretty much a trust fund set up for, like, the way I had said from the start, but saying it with my old co-host Chris Buchagnani, and saying, like, every guy should get like 10 or 15 grand for each year that he does play on a varsity sport and commits and stays in school. So you honor your commitment to the university by staying in school and staying eligible. So every year you get a $15,000 bump type of thing. Plus, on top of that, I think that there should be some kind of a stipend from the university out of the profit sharing. I really think that's the way to do it. And then all athletes. I mean, the football players, I know that we make all the money, and there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's the thing. But we still do finance the whole athletic department,
right?
So there's ways to do it, and there's ways to monitor it, and then nothing has really been done to monitor it.
Yeah, and I think too, like from the beginning of the year, Coach Franklin kind of rolled out a tier system to us of just how long longevity of how long you've been at the program, and I think that was kind of a good way to do things, just with obviously wanting to keep guys around, giving a reward to guys that have been there for a longer period of time. And I think our team saw some success in that. But then there's obviously a big piece of it. It's all about the effort you put into NIL. Is probably the effort you'll get, the reward you'll get back out of it. So there's got to be a balance.
Are you okay with guys just leaving the portal saying, I want this much money, and they're getting it?
I don't know, man. I mean,
I don't like that. I don't like that. That's no monitoring of that situation, and the rich will get richer, and that's why I think you're going to lose.
There's a lot of numbers and things you see out there that who knows if they're true or not.
And that's the thing.
That's a lot of it's shock
absolute
value.
thing, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's a lot of shock value. It's a lot of people building false narratives up without really any type of credentials or real information. I mean, a lot of these deals that people are reporting on, they're probably under an NDA for, and there's probably not any real information out. People are probably just talking. So it's one of those things where it's like you create this false sense of what's really going on with NIL, and now you want to punish the student athletes or, this needs to change, and it's not even the reality of what's going on for most people. So it's interesting, like you said, it's one of those landscapes where it's like
monitor it.
A lot of gray area with it right now.
100%.
I do want to ask, and Goon, you've been asking this to guys, have you had any cool opportunities through NIL to give back either to your family, to teammates around you, or any of those types of situations through NIL?
Yeah, I'd say the one that sticks out to me the most that we did through our company was Sean and I put on a camp back home at our high school, St. Xavier High School. Shout out St. Xavier in Cincinnati. But I mean, that was not Muller. not Muller. Hawk knows that too. But he knows what we did to his team.
You.
Yes, I got him.
I'm not even going to engage that comment. Please carry on.
But no, we put on me and Sean put on a camp back home, and first year we did it, we had probably 150 kids, 200 kids, and it was even a rainy day, so it was cool. Luke Kuechly went to my high school, so he even came back for it. That was which was really unique. But I had a blast. It was probably one of my highlights of the summer. It was just cool to kind of give back to the kids. It was a free camp, and just see the smiles we could put on people's faces back home.
I don't know Kuechly was a
St. X guy.
I didn't know he was a Cincinnati guy.
Yeah, he was the real deal. I got to give St. X credit with Luke Kuechly.
How the hell did he get to Boston College?
I don't think he was heavily recruited.
Damn,
a lot of St. X guys go to BC.
Yeah.
There's been a few.
There's a pipeline there. Funny story about that camp, by the way. So I'm talking to this guy that's in a golf polo. He's a really nice guy. I have no idea who he is. I'm thinking he's just a dad of the camp. I've got no clue who I'm talking to. He walks away, and Sean Clifford comes up to me. He's like, Hawk, how cool is it that he's here? I'm like, who is he? He's like, that's Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. I was sitting there having a conversation about nothing important with this guy. Probably thought I was a clown. Missed the opportunity, man. I had not a clue that it was
PTSD and CPE jumping in on you, boy.
Ever since I walked in here today, I feel like Hawk's just been getting kind of bashed.
Yeah, that's all right, man. That's what Goon does. That's his style, man. You got to let Goon do what he does.
What do you mean? Man. You're my little brother. I got to take care of you. I can't let you.
Bro.
I mean, he knows the little brother syndrome. He gets it.
Yeah, you're right.
Now he might be bashing us both.
Yeah, we just got to let it go at this point.
That's all good, man.
Liam, I really appreciate you joining us, man.
That was fun.
Take care of the bowl game, man.
Yes,
take care of that down there.
Stay tuned. We got a very special guest coming right back up on the Blue White Player Show.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Ciocca is hitting the field with 42 dealerships and 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Ciocca Dealerships. Experience the difference.
Hi everybody, Mike the Mailman here to tell you about a state college company that will help you follow the Nittany Lions to their bowl game. Collegiate Athletic Travel. From charter flights and on-site motor coaches to professional staff, the entire trip is easy and carefree. And with their 47 years in the business, you know you're in good hands. You'll get a game ticket and a lot more. Make memories to last a lifetime. Be there next time with Collegiate Athletic Travel.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freakin' Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, Still Not Canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Is it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss him.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, Still Not Canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorrento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
It's okay. I'm not being mean.
We're right back on the Blue White Players Show. As you can tell, Goon is still emotional about the conversation we had in the last segment. But we are joined.
Hawks upset. I'm very upset. I'm very upset that Hawks upset.
We're joined by my guy, my co-host, my other co-host, Goon. Jerry Cross is in the house today. Jerry, we appreciate you joining us here, man.
Appreciate y'all for having me, man.
Hawk been talking you up, man.
Yes, sir.
Hawk's been talking.
This is my dog, man. He's grown into a wonderful co-host for us, man. He does a lot of good work. He is a media star waiting to happen. Jerry, talk to me a little bit about how this season has gone for you and what you've been up to.
Just another developmental season for me, learning from Tyler and Theo, just having them in a room. Khalil also, just learning from them and look at the things they do. It helped me grow throughout this season. So I'm just continuing to just grow and just waiting on my time,
Yeah, and all signs are pointing to you continuing to develop and to grow, like you said, and you got a promising career ahead of you. I want to ask you, though, year two, still in that developmental phase, how have you been able to stay focused and continue to push towards those goals that we talked about?
For me, just trusting God's timing and just knowing that, my time will come. I'm here for a reason. So for me, it's just, taking it one day at a time, continue to, get better every day. Not looking ahead, just focusing on what I can do every day just to continue to grow and get better, whether it's in the weight room, in the classroom, or on the field. So
year-wise, what do you have left?
Got 3 years of eligibility.
Absolutely, man.
Plenty of time,
It's perfect timing right there. You have all these guys ahead of you. You have a hell of a tight end room right now. Everybody talks about the running back room and this and that and D-line room, and I'm saying, no way, man. The tight end room at Penn State's been damn good for the last 5, 10, 15 years. It really, historically, it's been fantastic.
Yeah. Just recently, it's been fantastic. Pat Freiermuth, Theo, Brenton Strange, Tyler. So let's ask.
It's like 5 tight ends.
It's nuts.
Gesicki.
I mean, Nick Bowers is playing in the NFL still. Gesicki, like you said, was just back in town. So I guess my question is, Jerry, you got 2 NFL tight ends, maybe 3 with Dinkins too. The way he's playing, what have you been able to take away from that? What have been the biggest takeaways, whether it's their preparation or how they run their routes or anything like that?
For me, I just look at Tyler. Like for me, Tyler's he's an all-around tight end. Same with Theo. Like Theo, he's a mentor for me. He helped me out through my ups and downs that I had. So for me, just taking all the different parts of their game and just trying to put it into my game and just learn from both of them. Khalil, that's like my brother. We lifting partners. We always make Khalil paired up together. So me and him continue to grow together.
Challenge.
And then even Andrew Raplier.
Yep.
He's next up too. So just all of us just, learn from each other. You just criticize each other and compete with each other.
Yeah, competition is the key, man, in everything. You get in the weight room, you got to start training together. And, I'm up 22% on this, where you at type of thing. And there's nothing but, compete in everything you do. Like Coach says, go 1-0 in everything. Go 1-0 in that workout, 1-0 in that exercise type of thing. So, and that's great. And then having those guys, I've said it multiple times on this show that when I came to Penn State, Hawk, see if you remember this. How many NFL guys were on our team just on the offense?
Man, I have no idea. I would guess. I'm going to go.
Now, we had 20 more scholarships a year, so you have to take that into account. So there's a little bit more.
Just starters in the entire offense.
Just our offense. No, not just that starting offense. That
entire
guys
unit.
That were seniors to guys that are true freshmen coming in.
NFL guys. I'm going to go with 9.
31. So you talk about competition type of thing. You had that every day where you would go in there, and we had tight ends. We had, again, I'm telling you, the litany and the history of the tight ends at Penn State are just insane. You got Mickey Schuler,
Kyle Brady,
Troy Drayton. You had Mickey Sr., and you're not even. even touching into the 2000s as of right now. So like, I want to get to like how I mean, I asked you off the air here. You're from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. How did you get here? And it's awesome that you're here. And is it working out for you? You like it? I mean, it's obviously a lot warmer here in the.
I love it here. Honestly, I don't really know how I got here. It's like, I went through our recruiting process. Originally in high school, I was a receiver. I was a 6'5" receiver. I was 195. I gradually started to gain weight throughout my career, like my high school career. I started at 190. I got to 210. Then I was 225 at some point. I was 245. I'm like, eventually I'm going to be a tight end. So for my recruitment, it was mainly for me. I had the whole Big Ten.
Yep.
I had some ACCs or SECs and Pac-12 schools. And then Penn State offered me. And then I started talking to Coach Franklin. I didn't really talk to Coach Franklin. I talked to Coach Howell, honestly. And then Coach Tyler Bowen. And
I forgot Tyler.
Yeah. And I always I knew about the tight ends at Penn State. I knew about Pat, and he was the best in the country at the time. So
absolutely,
I'm like, man, I want to go here. And I remember I called and told Coach Howell, I want to commit here. And they got me on the phone. Franklin kind of slowed me down. He's like, we haven't even had a conversation yet. And it was really just a family aspect from him, just talking to him every day. And that's what made me make my decision coming all the way from Milwaukee. I never even when I committed here, I haven't even took it official yet. So I was just, excited to be here. But so far, I love it here. It's been great for me.
Now you're sorry, Nia. So
you're good.
We're talking, what would you consider yourself? There's always that quasi tight end who's, you say you're a wide receiver, but did you get down the tight end and say, you know what, I'm going to be the pass catching receiver? Are you going to be that mutant blocker out there? Or are you a combination of them all?
It was crazy. We was just talking about this. Coming in, I was more of just a route runner, pass catcher.
Yeah.
But I feel like
because you played wide receiver. I mean, that's all you knew.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of graduating into becoming all around and being able to do everything. Because here at Penn State, if you want to get on the field, you have to know how to do everything at a high level. So for me, it's just continuing to grow in that aspect, just being all around and just continue to work all facets of my game in order to, to be the best.
Hey, another one we forgot about was Juwan Johnson.
Juwan Johnson.
He started as a receiver, left here, and then now he's a tight end for the Saints.
And he's playing well, too. A bunch of touchdowns.
Saw me the other day.
Yeah, he's doing real well.
There's another guy in the NFL from the tight end. Well, we won't. We'll claim him. We'll be like Ohio State claiming Joe Burrow.
Not quite as bad, though. Not quite as bad. Juwan was the guy here for a little bit, at least. I do want to say, though, you bring up a great point. There's a long history and tradition of high-level tight ends that have come to Penn State. You talk about the aces. You talk about the standard of excellence that you guys have created in that room. As a younger player who's getting ready to go into year 3 and is getting ready to go into a leadership role and hopefully take that next step, how do you hope to uplift that standard and maintain it?
For me, I want to just, in the pass game, be dominant, in the run game, be dominant. I want to be an all-around force on the field. That's something that I'm working on every day, and especially with this offseason coming up, that's something I'm going to be working on. And I talked to Coach Howard recently. He said he do see me as a leader potentially on this team. So for me, it's just not putting too much on my plate, just focusing on one day at a time, as I said before, just to continue to grow as a man on and off the field.
Go ahead, Goon.
As a running when it comes to a running tackle, you got a nasty tight end who can actually stretch the field running.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you cannot. I mean, that's undefensible, man. So you got to go out there. You're sitting there running out there, and you got defensemen running away from you because they don't want to line up against you. You got to love that. So good luck to you with all that. So
yeah, I want to ask you. You talk about becoming a leader.
Yeah.
And making that transition. Everybody who's played football at Penn State understands that the first step in that process, once you get to the off season, is winter workouts and establishing yourself as a competitor and as a leader in the room. So I got 2 questions. Number 1, what are you prepared to do in winter workouts to establish yourself as a leader? And number 2, do you have any crazy/funny winter workout stories from your first year doing so?
Definitely. So for me,
is he setting you up right now?
Yeah. He definitely
come on.
You know we talked about stuff.
Nice.
But for me, being a leader is not always vocal. It's not always, you just lead by example. It's leading comes in all different types of ways.
I completely agree with that.
So for me, just being the example of everything. Not that I'm the most vocal, but I can become more vocal. And then as far as winter workouts, man, when I first got here, it was crazy. First got here, I see Tyler Elgin, he's a linebacker here. I'm in the group with him. John Sutherland, I'm in the group with him. I remember this is my first rep I ever took. I had the cone, the cone knocked over. And Jay Sub looked at me, said I fumbled the ball. I lost us the game. I'm like, I look at him like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
And then I look at Elsden, he got turf pills all on his face, all around his eyes. He screaming and yelling and everything. And by the time we got to the last station, I never forget, like, this is the sled pushers. And, we're going 20 yards, 25 yards. And, like, we get to the fourth rep, it's a 25-yard sled push. So I'm pushing the sled, and my legs just completely give out. I can't even go no more. So I just completely dropped my face in the floor. And he got one more station left. We got one more station. I had to get carried to the next station, and I couldn't complete the station. And ever since then, it got better. But that first winter workout, that's something that that's a different type of workout.
Hard.
Yeah, it's a different type of workout.
You could have paced yourself and gotten through it, right?
No, there's no pace.
There's no
you
pace.
could have paced yourself and gotten through what I'm saying, but you balled out from the start, and that's why. But that's the whole point of getting better.
When you got Coach Franklin yelling at you, saying stop feeling sorry for yourself when you're not really feeling.
Isn't that funny when you're a freshman?
You're tired.
I thought you were my best friend 6 months ago, Coach. What the heck?
Yeah, that's
you were my boy 6 months ago.
Freshman year winter workouts is shock and awe.
Absolutely.
It's strategic. It's an attack on you and your character. It's much more than physical.
I'm telling you, they set it up.
Oh, they definitely
set it up. I remember one time somebody went down and they said, to like a 4-star recruit, they're like, weight room's that way, Bubba.
Just
Go
like
on.
Just like that.
Welcome to college football. Weight room's that way.
Yeah. My first, so we have a drill called tire. You might have had tire pull too, Goon.
Yep.
But we put a tire in the middle, and you got 5 yards to carry the person that's standing against you, and it's a battle of will and who's stronger, who's going to get to the line. My first ever matchup in tire pool was Juice Scruggs. And this is Juice prior, like this is pre everybody knows who Juice Scruggs is. He's dominant, blah, 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 blah. I go in there with Juice, and I was competitive for maybe 3.5 seconds. Like maybe 3.5 seconds. Then Juice pulled his traps back and his shoulders back, and he could have taken me all the way to Beaver Stadium if he wanted to. It was a long day for me. I didn't talk to anybody for like 3 days after that till the next one to work out. It was embarrassing.
Self-doubting yourself. Did I make the right decision?
Another story,
I play here? Can I do here?
So another story off of that same rep. So I get off, I lose the rep, I come out of the circle. Sean Spencer is still in town. I'm pissed that I lost the rep, and I'm dog tired from the workout. So I'm not really paying attention to the things around me. So I get grabbed by somebody after I lose the rep. I think it's one of my teammates. It's one of my peers. I don't even look. I throw this person's arms off my body, throw them right off. I look, and Sean Spencer is behind me. He's in a full sprint. He's running at me, and it was him that had grabbed me. He wanted to fight. So thank God that people broke that up because that was a problem.
He's tattooing wild dogs on his arm while running at you, yelling at you.
And barking and whatnot, man. Yeah, says Spence. That says Spence.
A lot of Spence talk today, Hawk.
A lot of Spence talk. I miss my guy, Spence, man. Texas A&M job, that's big for him.
Spence, too.
That's my guy, man. Cross, I want to ask you, you played against that defensive end room every day. Obviously, Chop Robinson declares for the draft. I'm not super concerned with it because I know the depth that's in that room.
That's nice to hear.
Zariah, Amin, Vanover, a lot of guys who are ready for more reps and just have been buried behind first-round talent. But when you look at that defensive end room and the way they've been able to play as a guy who's practiced against them every day, what is it about that unit that has made them so dominant this year?
Like I told you before, like the D-line room, they always the most electric. They loud us all the time. They all goofy. It just has to do with our whole defense. They always having fun. Like, they're the best in the country for a reason, and it's because they have fun what they doing, enjoying what they're doing. So just when I look at it, just going against the DNs and everything like that, and linebackers, you got to come with it every day because they are too. So going against Chop and
you have no idea how much it gets you better.
They're different. It's a hard look every time. It's like it's near.
It's painful at first because you're giving everything you have, and they're like pretty much going half speed, and they're beating you.
Right.
And it's like, damn, my God, you got something to learn from. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. That's how you get better every day is go against the best guys. You could be the best guy, and you just get lazy and ho hum. That's why the best players come from. I mean, the fact that you were wide receiver, now you're playing tight end. That's one of the hardest things to do. I've always said, playing corner is like if you never played football before and they put you at corner, okay, you got to back up 15 yards and then make a break on the ball while somebody's going to try and run past you with a 15-yard start.
Right.
I mean, that's ridiculously hard. And then people who don't know football or even offensive linemen who go out and play tackle, you don't realize how hard that is. Yeah. But then the run/passing tight end type of guy, if you're just the guy who's just going to go out there and be an offensive guy and catch the ball, the defense is going to know what you're going to do as soon as you're in that game. So you got to have the ability to be able to pass and run block and catch balls. So it's a tough position.
Yeah.
But if you're really good at it, I mean, it changes the whole complexion of the team. And that's what we've had here for a long time. And having Ty as the OC this past couple of weeks has been, it's opened up for us.
Yeah.
For you guys, excuse me.
Definitely.
I asked Liam the same question. I'll ask you as a guy who's returning. You got a new offensive coordinator. Is there anything about him specifically that excites you?
No, yeah, just don't talk. He's a very cool guy. Is what he talked about his scheme. He said it's more just about his players and what their strengths are, and he won't just go off a certain system. He goes off what the players' strengths are. So I like him so far. He said he's been around. He's been watching this, so I'm excited to see how it goes.
That sounds awesome, by the way. Because, you hear all these stories all the time of the coaches trying to, you got to meld my way. I'm going to do this way because I know how to call it. Yeah, man, you got to go with what your players are good at, and you got to attack it like that. Yep.
No doubt about it.
So we got to get the NIL stuff. So, is there anything that happened with your NIL this year any good stories? Bringing people in to see, flying home, people who wouldn't normally be able to come see you play. Did you buy a car?
I'll just say, honestly, with our Me and Hawks and Ducks podcast, that has been big for us. Is just not even with the money aspect, just with put our names out there and just getting to learn more about, giving people insight about the locker room is that's a good thing. Most regular people, they want to know the inside scoop of what we do and how we do things every day. So
people see football teams and they think that the defensive backs and then wide receivers run the show because they just run their mouths all game.
Yeah,
it's the O&D line.
It's always
the O&D line run the locker room, and there's the tight ends. You're the quasis.
Yep.
Sometimes you're the O lineman and sometimes you're a receiver. But when it comes down to locker room moderation and control of the locker room, tight ends are offensive linemen, no doubt.
Every time. Yeah. I will say, you bring up a good point with the podcast. It's been a lot of fun. We've had a good time doing it. But an underrated aspect of NIL that I think we don't talk about enough is that there's an opportunity to educate guys and equip them to have success beyond just playing football. I think academics obviously are going to do that. You learn a ton playing football too, but there's something about real life experience and going out and trying things like podcasting and running camps and starting a clothing line, all those things. Yeah. There's value in doing that at 19, 20 years old. And I think that's been a big plus. And I think the Penn State specifically has done a good job with getting guys those types of opportunities.
Good stuff, man. That's awesome stuff. Everything you're doing is great.
Thank you.
Now, last question here. I do want to get into this because there's a lot of speculation.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, when you weren't playing football, what were you doing out there?
Man.
Drinking beer and cheese curds.
Milwaukee, most people don't know. Milwaukee is it's a bad city. Especially from the part I'm from the inner city, it can get crazy. So for me, I always kind of stay occupied with sports.
Mm-hmm.
And when I wasn't playing sports, I started my clothing brand. So that was something I was majorly, I'm doing. And plus, I just spend time with my family too. So me is just being close to my family, my little brothers, and my mom, my grandparents.
Yep.
And then just keep myself occupied with football, with basketball, all types of sports, and then my clothing line.
Just those two?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. So
basketball's the best thing for football player, no doubt. It always has.
I never really got into wrestling and like that. I never really.
Did you have it? Was it a big thing up there?
Yeah, wrestling big. Hockey.
Jeez, you're right.
What else?
Can you ice skate, being from Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
I went ice skating one time. I was pretty good at it. I haven't been
okay.
I don't know how long, but it's been a while. But when the first time I tried it, I was pretty good. But now I don't
what size foot are you?
15.
You ain't got one of them.
No.
I've been asking Guy Godowski to take me ice skating one time.
Guy Godowski's the
men's ice hockey coach, and he goes, "Listen, I could put like a butter knife on a shoebox if you want to make you a pair of skates, but they don't make 15s, man.
No, man.
I'm sorry."
Or a lot of big guys ice skating like that, I would guess.
TJ Watt was out there growing up.
Can he ice skate?
JJ Watt,
yeah,
they both played hockey.
That's impressive. That is impressive. Well, Cross.
All stuff, man.
I appreciate
you for coming on, man. Good luck.
Best of luck in the future, brother.
Sure.
Stay tuned on the Blue White Player Show. We'll be back very soon.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Ciocca is hitting the field with 42 dealerships and 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Ciocca Dealerships. Experience the difference.
Hi everybody, Mike the Mailman here to tell you about a state college company that will help you follow the Nittany Lions to their bowl game. Collegiate Athletic Travel. From charter flights and on-site motor coaches to professional staff, the entire trip is easy and carefree. And with their 47 years in the business, you know you're in good hands. You'll get a game ticket and a lot more. Make memories to last a lifetime. Be there next time with Collegiate Athletic Travel.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freakin' Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Is it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now, only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss him.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back into the Blue White Player Show presented by our good friends over at Ciocca Dealerships. I'm joined by a Whippio legend, a Penn State football legend. Tank Smith is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Tank, it is a privilege to have you here, my guy.
Pleasure to be here.
It's always exciting. We talked about it off the air. We might as well just get it out the way now.
Do it.
Tank Smith, ladies and gentlemen. I done played against a bunch of really good running backs over my time. Journey Brown, the Noah Canes of the world. There's some great running backs, and I don't want to knock their hustle at all, but none of which I've ever played against are more difficult to tackle than the man that's sitting to my left right now, Tank Smith. So, Tank, I want to ask you, first of all, where did you learn to run the football like this? What made you this way? And what has your year been like at Penn State football?
I don't know. I feel like I just always kind of ran that way. Actually, that's a lie. I feel like when I first started running, when I first started playing football, I was like 4 or 5 years old. And, I always looked at myself as, one of the most physical guys on the field. But once I got to, like, high school, my junior year, I realized I was just bigger, not height, but, bigger with weight and a little stronger than everyone. So that's, why I always ran everybody over it. We're doing an Oklahoma drill my junior year against the hardest hitter on our team, who was only like 160, and I was about 180 at the time. And, he got the best of me. And that's when I really realized, like, man, I'm kind of soft. I'm not, and then I feel like after that, I changed my whole mentality and became.
You became the Tank.
Yeah, he became Tank.
Yeah, that's when I really feel like I became.
All right, I need to know where to come from, when, who gave it to you.
So
So when
that's the greatest nickname for a running back in the history of nicknames.
Yeah, it's super fitting.
Yeah, so I when I transferred to Penn Hills in 5th grade, I played for Gateway early on. My uncle, who's a coach here, Terry, he was a head coach there. When he left, I had transferred to Penn Hills. They're rivals, so the first year I kind of like I didn't want to play football because I didn't want to play for Penn Hills. And then the next year, I made some friends in the neighborhood and everything, so I played. And I had a coach named Coach Chris, and I actually just told this story a few weeks ago in my hotel share. And I had a coach named Coach Chris, and he gave me a nickname every day. Like, there was a couple nicknames that I can't even say on here. But so he gave me a nickname every day, and Tank is just the one that stuck. I don't remember exactly the moment he gave me the nickname, but there's two that come to mind. There was we were running half gassers, and I was last. So maybe it was that one. But then there was another. There was a hardest hitter on the team. We called him AZ, and I was still new at Penn Hills, and Oklahoma drill. I got the best of them. Nickname came.
It makes sense.
Just stuck. I hated it at first, though.
Really? You didn't even like it at first?
I didn't like it at first.
What age was it? Was it in high school?
No, it was 5th grade.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, Tank has maintained his Oklahoma supremacy. One of the first times. So, Tank and I had gotten to know each other. I hadn't seen him play yet. I like Tank, but you never know what you're going to get out of somebody when they get to school. I just didn't know what to expect. Right. Tank gets an Oklahoma drill, and we had a linebacker at Penn State. I'm going to say his name. I think it deserves to be said, but there was a kid named Robbie Dwyer who was a linebacker at Penn State, and Robbie was not the most gifted athletically, but he was big, physical, tough, played a lot on special teams. Coaches loved him, and he was a sure tackler. They put Tank Smith and Robbie Dwyer in angle tackle drill. And I'm telling you right now, it was like a car wreck. I watched that play happen in front of me, and it was impressive stuff. You have maintained this physicality throughout your career. So I want to ask you, being a guy that walked onto the team here at Penn State, you got to earn respect the hard way as a run-on here. Everybody knows that. Do you feel like your physicality brought that respect that you were looking for?
Yeah, and even more so, my physicality was my just approach to the game. Even though I was a walk-on and stuff, every time I stepped on the field, I was trying to compete.
Yep.
I honestly felt, and this is not a knock against, my fellow walk-ons or nothing, but I honestly felt, I didn't want to go against the walk-ons. I didn't want to get reps against the walk-ons. I wanted to get reps against, when I first got here, it was Lance Dixon, Brandon Smith. I was looking forward to getting reps against Micah, but, he opted out that year and everything. But, I always wanted to get reps against the best guys. And, when I was in the D squad scrimmage, I remember I was going against, Curtis Jacobs, Kobe King, the starting linebackers now.
Yeah.
And, I just remembered, like, anytime I would do something against them, it made me feel better because I know that I'm going against the best of the best. Like, this is the LBU, so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I want to ask you on that note, like, confidence is a trend that I'm hearing here. Like, you talk about playing against the best and you wanted to do that. Was it to prove yourself right? Like, hey, I can do this at this level and everybody else needs to see it? Or did you not know and you wanted the opportunity to go prove it to yourself?
I think it was a little bit of both, especially at the beginning, because you never know once you get here, what it's going to look like, or how you're going to play, or how you're going to match up against the level of competition. But once I got my feet wet a little bit and seeing that I could actually compete against a lot of these guys, it was just all confidence. Like, I knew that if I didn't want to rep, it's because, or I at least felt like. I felt like if I didn't want to rep, it's because it's something I did. It's not because that player is better than me or nothing. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these dudes are far more talented than me. Kurt is crazy talented.
Is a problem. Yeah, he's a problem.
So it was just a lot of confidence. Every rep I took, I felt like I, had a good chance to win.
A little chip on the shoulder, man.
Yeah.
That's how you got to play the game when you're in that position, because it's like they're going to give a scholarship kid every opportunity. Yeah. That's just the way of the game. That's the way of the beast. And because the coach has got to look good to give a scholarship, and you're still a walk-on here, but you might be 10 times better than him, but he's going to get the more shots ahead of you. And it sucks, but that's the way it is. But you got to persevere through it. And honest to God, as soon as you get here, the first year if you can play here.
Right.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Then you're sitting there like, all right, I know I can play here. I got this. And then, if at any point you're like, because everybody has that time, like, oh my God, I can't play here. There's no way I'm going to be able to do this. But, you get down as the season goes on, you sit there and say to yourself, I can do this. And it just builds from there. Yeah. So you being a walk-on and this and that, and T. Small, your uncle, I mean, he was busting your chops all the time, right?
Yeah.
I know he was keeping on you. He was one of them 31, by the way.
Say that he was one of the 31.
Yeah, T. Small was he was a last year senior when I was a true freshman.
Oh yeah, his tape was the real deal. Now, Coach Smith,
dude, he could play, man. Real. He made everything happen.
So I want to ask you about that. So do you feel like your family and the upbringing that you had kind of wired you the way you are, where you want to go compete against the best, and you're not ducking any type of confrontation or work? Is that a family thing? Is that how Coach Smith was back in his younger days?
Definitely. Coach Smith, my dad, Harvey Smith, who played at West Virginia,
yep.
He actually started at D2 and transferred there and walked on and ended up being a 4-year captain at West Virginia. So, my family comes from, being underdogs, you know what I mean? So that was kind of instilled in me. And that's kind of the Pittsburgh brand. Pittsburgh never really has the biggest, strongest, or a lot of times they are the strongest, but the biggest, fastest guys. It's kind of just that chip on your shoulder Pittsburgh mentality. But yeah, my family, my uncle, he was a small guy. I believe when he went to college, he was probably like 140, 150 when he first got there. And, he didn't gain much weight while he was there. He was always a small guy, but, he played with that chip on the shoulder. Same thing with my dad. They were both smaller, frail guys who just had to go and dominate on the field to, earn respect. So yeah,
we're gonna get that Pittsburgh route right now. And I'm a Philadelphia area guy, so I have that on my shoulder. But Pittsburgh guys are the worst with the whole complex about me. It's true though. The WPIAL means more than a state title to them, right? Yeah, would you rather win a WPIAL or would you rather win a state title? Honestly, guys, it's an honest question with these guys.
Yeah.
And it's true. And it's awesome because they remember all these guys. They remember more for the WPIAL days because of how good they were. It's amazing the history of Pittsburgh football.
Yeah.
Deep. Kills me to say it, that, but it's true.
Yeah. Almost as good as Ohio football, if you think about it, really. If you think about it for long enough, they could maybe come to Cincinnati and try to compete.
Dude.
Potentially.
Here we go.
I will say, you're right. Pittsburgh guys, we talked about this on the show already. There's a certain brand of football in certain areas of the country where you have a different expectation for the guys that are going to come in. Pittsburgh is one of them. I think at Penn State, we can say confidently that the DMV is one of them. There's a long line of guys that come here and are successful that way.
I say super athletes come out of the DMV.
They do.
Like freak athletes.
Curtis Jacobs.
There's no doubt these guys are athletes and this and that. But, if I had a room full of 10 guys, I know what guys
you're
picking.
Getting out of them, no doubt about it. I want to circle back to one thing. You played against a bunch of really good linebackers. Jesse Lucchetta was another middle linebacker you played against, right? Yeah. So my question to you is, you've been tackled by a lot of guys. Yeah. Is there one guy specifically, not by Hawk, but a lot of guys, where you came through that A gap and you saw a guy that was there one guy specifically where you were a little bit more locked in for than others? Maybe it was going to bring a little bit more thunder.
Oh, yeah, easily. Kobe King.
Kobe King's the one.
Kobe King every time. Because like I said, I've been going against him since he got here. Because, for my first 2 years here, I was kind of like, the dummy for our incoming linebackers. So if we
just talked about this.
Yeah, so when he first got there,
everybody's got to do it though. Everybody's got to do it.
Yeah, it's like if he can't, the first thing this guy's got to do is tackle Tank. And I remember my first one-on-one rep. It's not even like a contact Oklahoma drill. It's one-on-one routes, and I'm running a route out of the backfield, and he jams me in my chest, and he jams me into the snapper who's snapping the ball to the quarterback, and I fall into the snapper. And if I didn't fall into the snapper, then I would have fell on the ground. So I bounced off of him and made the kid, but he won a rep, and I'm like, I never felt that type of strength in my chest in my life. And he had just got there.
Yep.
And every single hit with him is a car wreck, like you said, was the Dwyer. Every single hit with him was,
What are you studying, Tank?
Telecommunications.
Awesome. What are you doing 10 years from now?
Coach, I want to be a coach.
Yeah? In the WPIAL?
Hopefully, this level in college.
Oh, you want to go to college route?
I'll definitely, start in high school.
Brutal, man.
Yeah, I know.
You can ask T. Small. It's 24/7, 365. It's tough, man. You gotta. I never saw him as being that guy who's locked in, but he really is. He's locked in, man. It's crazy because it's like because he's got stuff outside of football.
Yep.
I mean, I just how those guys are locked in and just football. It's just like one of those things. It's like you either got it or you don't, and you're going to be a guy who's going to sit there and you're going to see. I could predict it right now. You're going to see a kid who reminds you of you, and you're going to get in his ear and say, "Come on, man, let's go. I'll give you a shot. I'm going to give you a shot." That's the way it is.
Yeah. And I feel like you'd even appreciate that coaching opportunity in a little bit different of a way because, number one, you got family who did football, whether they coached or played at a high level. And then you played at Penn State, you played at a high level, and then now you'll be able to go and give that experience right back to the youth. That's got to be pretty cool, and it will be cool to accomplish.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I want to do it because, I felt like, and, I thought about other things, especially throughout, this year, my last year playing, if I want to do something else. But I just feel like I have so much knowledge and, wisdom of the game that I have, I feel like I have an obligation to, share it with younger guys. And I've had that experience, bringing along Nick and Fat Man, K-Tron, helping them,
You've been the leader in there for them.
Yeah.
They came in as young bucks, and you told them how it was done, and this is how it's done.
Right.
What have you seen out of K-Tron and Nick in terms of development and the way they approach the game?
They're two very first of all, they're two very different personalities. So when they first came in, I remember having a conversation with Fat Man, and he's just like, man, blah blah blah. He was worried about playing time. Nick was, 5-star, blah, blah. He was worried about, like, am I going to get my shot? Like, bro, you come in here with the right mindset, you going to play. You know what I mean? And so, they didn't butt heads early, but it was a little,
it's competition at the end of the day.
And then they became best friends, and them dudes,
so who's Fat Man?
K-Tron Allen.
We got a Fat Man and a Tank in the same room?
Yeah, that's his nickname.
I thought you were calling me out. I was like, Tank, damn, boy. Gee.
Fat Man, he don't like when people call him K-Tron. If I was on her, calling him K-Tron, he'll give me a fit. So, but they worked their behinds off. They put in, difference. The biggest difference what I seen from was their first year and their second year is, the extra time they're spending in the facility. Like after practice, there's not a day they're, Fat Man's not in the boots for recovery, mixing the tubs. They're doing something every day, and they're maturing a lot, and it's going to help them, in their careers, which they're both going to have long careers.
Yeah, it seems like the talented guys that figure out how to take care of the little things are the ones that make it, and they make it big. So it's good to hear the two guys. Obviously, both NFL talents.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool to hear, man.
They're preparing like pros too now.
Tank keeping them in line now.
Tank Smith keeping them in line.
Don't let them get too big, man. Don't let their heads get too big.
Now, Tank, last thing I'll ask you, we talk about NIL with everybody that comes on the show. Have you had any opportunities through NIL that you care to share with us today?
I didn't have many, I'm a walk-on. So, I won't say that because a lot of walk-ons actually have had, good opportunities and stuff. But honestly, I wasn't very focused on that. But I did have a couple opportunities. Most notably, what's the place called? Urban, the Urban Flavor House, I think it's called.
Yep, Urban Flavor House.
I had a Tank burger there when it was actually.
Come on, talk to me, baby. Now we're talking, Tank. Now we're talking. Burger. Come on, what we got?
It was when NIL first came out. So I think it was like 2 years ago.
What's on it?
It was I think it was like a half-pound burger.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
The beef was like elk. It was a whole bunch of blended beefs. I didn't even have a say in it. I didn't even know what that was, but it was like boar, elk, Wagyu. It was all mixed up.
Damn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Then it was bacon, lettuce, tomato, grilled onions, and then there I think the whiteout barbecue sauce.
Tank and I were actually rivals that year because the same time they put the Hawk and Dog tenders on the menu, they bring out the Tank burger, and then Tank started crushing me in sales. Man, they were buying that way more than the Hawk and Dog tenders. Man,
I'm going burger.
You going with the Tank burger?
I'm going with Tank burger 100% of the time.
It felt like they spent significantly more time.
I'm not 7 years old. I'm not going to order chicken tenders and fries. I'm going to order a burger.
Whatever, man. I didn't have you saying it either. Right? They gave me chicken tenders. They gave Tank the best burger in the state.
You were the French fries. Dog was the chicken, man. Come on.
I was the French fries.
You were the French fries. You were like, yeah.
Crazy.
You were the crinkle cuts, baby.
I'm not tolerating that.
Hawk and Dog, baby.
Not one bit. Tank, it's a privilege. It's an
Appreciate
honor.
it, man.
I appreciate you coming
Good luck,
on, man.
All right. Great
Good
time.
luck
Great
to you,
talk.
brother. We'll see you soon, man. Stay tuned. We got another special guest on the defensive side of the football coming right up. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Hey, Penn State fans, it's game time, and Ciocca is hitting the field with 42 dealerships and 25 brands in Pennsylvania and New Jersey. That means more choices and the perfect new or pre-owned vehicle priced to fit your budget. Plus, factory-trained service experts are just minutes away, and you can feel confident you're doing business with a family that treats you like family. We're a proud partner of Penn State Athletics and preferred dealership group of the Penn State Alumni Association. The Ciocca Dealerships. Experience the difference.
Hi everybody, Mike the Mailman here to tell you about a state college company that will help you follow the Nittany Lions to their bowl game. Collegiate Athletic Travel. From charter flights and on-site motor coaches to professional staff, the entire trip is easy and carefree. And with their 47 years in the business, you know you're in good hands. You'll get a game ticket and a lot more. Make memories to last a lifetime. Be there next time with Collegiate Athletic Travel.
WWE returns to Penn State's Bryce Jordan Center with the WWE Live Holiday Tour. Sunday night, December 10th, you'll see World Heavyweight Champion Seth freakin' Rollins, the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes.
May the best man win.
WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley, Bobby Lashley, Becky Lynch, and more. Tickets start at $20. They make great holiday gifts. Get yours now at Ticketmaster.
It's Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Yes, I make a living talking to myself, which means some forms of mental illness actually pay off. Was it bad that I unplugged my cousin's life support to charge my phone? Oh, shut the hell up.
Friday, March 22nd, Bryce Jordan Center. Tickets on sale now, only at JeffDunham.com. Don't miss them.
Silence! I kill you!
Jeff Dunham on his all-new tour, still not canceled.
Coast into fall with a new Kia from Lion Country Kia. Right now, get a 24 Kia Seltos for 5.25% APR for up to 48 months. A new Sportage plug-in hybrid at 0.9% APR. Check out our 23 Sorento hybrid for as low as 4.5% APR. And don't forget, all 2023 and 2024 Kias come with a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited warranty. Stop in and meet with one of our sales experts today and coast into fall at Lion Country Kia. We want to see you in a Kia.
Welcome back to the Blue White Players Show. I'm joined today by another Pittsburgh legend, a guy that I played a few years of football with on the defensive side of the ball, Daequon Hardy. Daequon, how are you doing today, brother?
Well, I'm doing good, Huck. Happy to be out here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely, man. It's, you know, I said this on Twitter. I want to say it now in person, too. It's been really cool to watch the way that you've progressed throughout your career. You've been a really good player from day one. But this year specifically, it seems like all the right things are clicking at the right time. Special teams, at corner, you're doing a bunch of good things. So let's talk about this year first. How cool has it been to experience everything clicking at the right time?
It's been, just a roller coaster. Last year, I feel like I didn't have the greatest season I wanted. And I just told myself coming into the season, like, I'm going to work my tail off and do everything I can to set myself up for success, whether that be NFL or, just in life. So I just went all out, and was just so happy to just see things come to fruition.
You've taken advantage of every opportunity you've had this year, and it's been fantastic to watch and helped the team out immensely, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I mean, that was much, much needed at those times. So,
yeah. I mean, the Ohio State game specifically, I was at the game, and it seemed like Ohio State came in and was like, you know what, to start this game, we're going to try to throw a 25. We feel like we got a matchup there.
Pick on him.
And you had like 4 PBUs in the first 2 drives of the game. They were like, all right, that's enough throwing at him. But the punt return, please, for the sake of Goon, the guy who has never taken a punt back to the house in his career, explain to us what it's like.
Hold on. What is Hawk over here? What do you return a kick a week here? What's going on?
In the 8th grade, I had a punt return for a
How
touchdown.
do you know what I had?
You never had a punt return for a touchdown. I don't need need any more investigation to know that's true.
You had a punt return for a touchdown.
In the 8th grade, yeah.
It was blocked, and you just picked it up and ran it in the
it was
end
like
zone.
70
Don't lie,
yards.
Hawk.
I was like 6'2", 215 and could run in the
And
8th
you
grade.
caught the punt, and you ran it in for a touchdown.
Yes. I'm going to find the tape because now I'm getting discredited.
Was it like one of those defenses that let you score so
I
they could
played
get the ball back?
I played
and
in
they
the
could
homeschool football league, so the talent wasn't great. It wasn't great talent, but I scored the
a
touchdown
home
nonetheless.
school. Are you hearing this?
That's
Are you hearing? I don't think the Whitfield
beside the
guys over
point.
here are respecting the homeschooled student
I was
association.
homeschooled. I don't know what you want me to tell you. I didn't get the pick. I didn't go to school. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I could only imagine who you were playing against, and you get a punt return.
Oh,
God
man.
bless it, though.
I
never did.
I had like 6 touchdowns a game in that homeschool league in the 8th grade. It was incredible. I thought I was the best football player of all time. But that's neither here nor there. You had 2 punt return touchdowns back to back.
Bang.
Goon definitely hasn't done that. Neither have I. So
I have
please.
never even touched. I never even touched. I never had an interception. A lot of fumble recoveries.
Okay, so with that being said, explain to our viewers what that experience was like when you realized that you're about to score a punt touchdown.
I mean, honestly, like throughout my whole football career, like I've always been like one of the most fastest. So like I kind of in high school, I had like almost, I want to say 10 returns for a touchdown. So like it's like I don't want to brag, but it's like something I've been doing. You know,
this isn't even new to you.
Yeah, right. So
okay.
Like, I was just so happy that Coach Franklin finally gave me the opportunity to do it in the game and just show my talent. So I know
what took so long.
I mean,
I know you asked that.
It's the he's a philosophy type guy. You know, being on the defense, he thinks our ball security kind of not the best, so he doesn't want to risk the football. Being a turnover again. The other team another opportunity. So I understand where he's coming from, but it's just.
Well, clearly he finally made the right choice with that one. And you have earned.
They worked out, man.
Yeah, worked out very well. So I mean, let's talk about it. The corner room, is super deep. And Kalen King, Johnny Dixon is a guy that still, in my opinion, isn't getting talked about enough. He's an NFL corner playing high level. You're an NFL corner playing high level. How have you guys fed off of each other throughout the season and been such a dominant group?
I think it just starts with the connection we got, like off the field. We're like brothers off the field. We talk about anything. And then just on the field, we kind of like pick up things from each other. Like we talk to each other about techniques and like what we doing wrong or what we doing well. So. There's no like animosity between us three, and just that's what I think. That's where we flourish the most at.
And you held each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. If somebody's not pulling their weight, you're going to get up in their face, and you're okay with that because that's what brothers do.
Right.
Go ahead. No, you hear everything, and your brothers will tell you anything. Everybody else can give you all the fluff they want and this and that, but your brothers and your best friends are the ones that are going to tell you. So,
especially them corners, man. One thing about those cornerbacks is they're going to talk.
They're different.
They're going to talk and talk and talk.
I'm not really much of talking myself.
You actually are on the quieter side of DBs I dealt with.
I just play the game, but if a guy talking to me, I talk back. I'll punch back.
I want to ask you about your position coach. Terry Smith is a guy that I got a ton of respect for. I played with. I know everybody in that program on the defensive side of football specifically has a ton of respect for. What has playing for T. Smith been like throughout your career, and how has he made you a better player?
I have a ton of respect for the Smiths family in general. I met Tank when I was 5 years old. I'm gonna say 5 years old in 5th grade.
Okay,
not 5 years old in the 5th grade. And then his dad coached high school, and then just that connection with the family. I met Coach T, and then they just been like my football family. Like, I really don't got like a football family. Like I'm one of the only athletes in my family, so like just being close with those guys, they kind of like showed me football, coached me throughout football. So it's just been a terrific experience to come here and actually be coached by another Smith. It's just lead the way throughout my football career.
I feel like one thing that makes you, you do a lot of things really well as a corner, but you're an undersized guy. But you never look like you're undersized when you're playing. You're physical, you're tough, you're going after guys regardless of any of those things. Where does that mindset come from?
It's just, I play football like in Wilkinsburg. It's a tough area, just got to be gritty down there. So that's why I started football. That's why I think I started my toughness. Got my toughness from. So it just carried over in life. And just knowing I'm a smaller guy, I got to set myself apart. I can't just, get pushed around or like just be average out there. So I know I got to do things a little differently. And
the ones you got to watch out for, Hawk.
You got to watch out.
The ones you got to watch out for, no doubt, man.
No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, that's the mindset. We talked about the Whitfield before. I mean, there's definitely a mindset in there. And you guys come up here and such a rich tradition with Penn State football with guys from the Whitfield. I mean, even in the NFL, I mean, there's definitely a standard that's there. And you definitely, I mean, we talk all the time about standards. You always want to do better than the ones before you, and you're you know, you're looking at T. Small as your coach right there, and you've known him since you were in 5th grade. So, I mean, that's got to be great. And you know, he's going to tell you, like, I mean, probably one of his sons, in my opinion. You know, and probably the way he treats you. I mean, I know the way he treats his kids, and you know, you are his kids. I know how Terry is, and he is that fatherly figure type of thing. And you know, the last thing you want to do is piss your dad off. You know what I mean? You don't want to, you know, your dad's got faith in you to go out there and cover this guy and make it happen. You make it happen.
You talk about pissing dad off. The D-line room is right next to the corner room. Let me tell you something. You get T. Smith fired up, everybody in the building knows.
Smallest guy there.
Smallest guy, but T. Smith yelling in the other room and you feel like you're in trouble. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's a standard, though. I mean, he's not yelling to yell. He's yelling because there's a standard here, and he isn't bought in here. I mean, think about who has come out of this league, out of this university in the last 10 or 15 years since he's been here.
No doubt.
I mean, we still don't have a first-round corner or defensive back. I mean, it's unbelievable.
It is. You know who's playing like a first-round cornerback this year is that Joey Porter Jr. You know, it's crazy how things work out. It's like we told everybody that he was a first-round corner.
But I guess he's not getting paid like one, and that's
that's
what the owners like.
But he's back home, and they will have to pay him soon. He keeps playing the way he does.
Correct, and they'll take care of their owners for sure.
No doubt. I want to ask you, though, you know, you lose a guy like Joey Porter. You know, coming into this year, you had to step up and be a leader. That, you know, Kalen was the same way. Johnny Dixon was the same way. So, you know, how have you evolved as a leader yourself within the corner room and with the defense as a whole?
You know, I always been kind of a, you know, like show it to the younger guys type of person. But I feel like this year I kind of improved in my vocal leadership, you know, just kind of coaching guys more and just being around the younger guys and just showing them the ropes, you know, the ways to do things.
Are there any young corners that I need to be watching for coming up next year? Who are the guys that you see that are underneath you or maybe younger than you that you could see being a really good player at Penn State?
You know, we got Cam, then we got Zion Tracy, man. Zion Tracy, he's going to be one of them ones. And then we got Elliot Washington is going to be another one. You know, and then that's really much it. You know, we kind of have a smaller room right now, but those guys right there, they're the ones that are coming up next.
Goon, I don't know what it was like when you were playing. We talked about position battles that happen in the locker room, position versus position battles. I'll say that. And Day, I don't know if you guys are still beefing with the defensive line.
Definitely. Beef never is.
So I got a story on that note because I've been waiting to tell this story. So we had a kid on the team. He was a corner named Makai Self. And Makai was my roommate. And Makai was a corner, and he had an attitude problem. We had been having beef all day long. And one day in the Morgan Academic Center, Makai slapped me in the back of the head and then ran out the room. So I caught Makai by himself. And I didn't beat Makai up. That was my friend. But I might have shoved him around a little bit and let him know, hey, I'm the 3 technique here, and you're going to treat me as such. And then I get tricked by Daequon Hardy, and I think Joey Porter was the other one. They come into the study room I'm in. Hey, Aeneas, we're in the same class. We know you get this concept. Can you come in and help us with it real quick? I'm like, yeah, no problem. I got my guys. I go into this room. When I tell you, I mean, it's insane how quickly they pulled this off. I go in thinking I'm helping. I realize it's 12 corners in the room surrounding me. I've got nowhere to go.
Like little munchkins attacking you.
Marquise Wilson grabs the drawstrings of my hoodie and pulls them shut. I can't see, and I feel 24 hands lightly jabbing me all over my body. I can't see anything. I'm getting jumped, and we ended up having a unit versus unit brawl in the locker room the next day of practice, all in good spirit, all in good fun. But again, I still have personal vendettas against every corner I meet.
We used to beat the tar out of our wide receivers, and I mean beat the tar out of them. It would be like, you know, they were like hanging off. It was like 4 of them hanging off of each arm, and you're just swinging them around. And we were at the Rose Bowl in '94, and Justin Williams, we all went in and just like Hulk Hogan, like splashed him laying on his bed. I mean, the bed pancaked, the bed shattered, so we all paid $150 each, for which we had about 3,000 pounds on top of this kid. But he was resilient. He went out and got a Gatorade bucket full of water and got into me and Marco's room and put it underneath the door and flooded our hotel room.
That's the thing. You got to watch those guys. Those skilled players, man.
And then he runs away.
That's what they do.
You know, but they always thought they had safety in numbers.
No doubt.
But it was like if one of them were there, they were always like packing their stuff and putting around in the cement. There's like 3 linemen in there just looking like.
Well, after I got jumped at the academic center, we had a plan after practice to address the entire unit. By the time we got to the locker room, every single corner on the team was out of the
Gone.
locker room. The only one that was still there was Joey. And we ended up finding Joey. We got him into the cold tub. And to this day, he tells me that I'm soft for going and getting my friends to help me in that situation. Anyway.
We telling stories?
We're telling stories.
All right. We had a guy, local guy. This is he was a defensive back, but he was more of a friend. It wasn't a battle amongst the positions at that point, but he threw eggs at our in the apartment.
Okay.
And we're sitting there like, boom, boom, boom. What the hell is that? Look outside. He's like, giving us the finger. And he runs up to his girlfriend in the apartment. So we go. We're big fat guys, but we're sly. We sneak up there, hide behind some bushes, and his girlfriend's roommate comes up, and we're like, we're not here. Open the door. So we grab him, run him back down to our apartment, throw him into a room with 3 offensive linemen. He's on the bed, flip the light off, and it just he just started flailing. We all took a couple shots to the face, but dude, we hung his underwear on the wall because we wedged him so bad. We kept it as a memento. The last time he did that, though.
Yeah, make an example out of it, man.
We
That's
had
how
to. You don't come near our house. There's a pair of underwear, boxer shorts ripped off of his body hanging on the wall.
That's nuts.
That means don't come in here.
Off the air, Day, we talked about the fact that you're graduating from Penn State University here coming up soon.
Congrats, Bubba. What'd you graduate in?
Psychology.
Oof.
Psychology.
Yeah, you want to work on Hawk over here?
Yeah, I need some help, brother. Let
Jeez.
me know when you're ready.
Beat
man.
up by corners over here.
Yeah, man. That's what I knew. I'm telling you, man. It was a rough go for me the first couple
What
of
you do
years.
that to my man for? Look at him.
That's what I'm saying, man. It was uncalled for.
Corners gotta look out for the corners.
Whatever, man. Whatever. Anyway, so psychology degree. After you retire from the NFL and your 17-year career, what is Daequon Hardy doing after?
I just plan on just working in my community, just giving back to the younger guys. Just myself. I really don't have no person to look up to or just who helped me out when I was younger. So I just plan on doing that with the younger guys.
That's good, man. That's
coaching.
Probably like a nonprofit organization.
Yep. Ooh. So I'll ask you this question too. With NIL being a thing now and being a corner and a well-known corner on the team, have you been able to do anything through NIL to give back?
I mean, not too much right now. Sometimes I send money home to my mother and just help her out a little bit. But
That's absolutely awesome.
Which is plenty.
You know how much we would have killed to do that back in the day? I swear, man. That's good. That's awesome to hear, brother.
No doubt about it. Daequon Hardy, we appreciate you joining us on the show today, man. Best of luck in the future, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Good luck to you, my man. Good luck.
Stay tuned on the Blue White Player Show. We will be back.
Final segment, Hawk.
Letterman segment.
Well, yeah, we'll get back. We got to talk a little bit, but then, it'll be on our final segment, Hawk.
It's crazy, man. The year got by
15 episodes, Bubba.
Sad day. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
15 weeks, I hear the Hawk getting beat up.
Taking his headset off.
My name's Ty Howe. I played center at Penn State from 2009 to 2013. So I'm now the tight ends coach at Penn State. So I think one of the toughest moments in my career was in 2012. I was a junior going into the summer. Just had a really, really great spring ball. And in June, I had a pec tear, complete tear. It was kind of like my first opportunity to see a ton of meaningful playing time. And, you know, I was kind of in that position where, you know, to take a job and you know, play a lot of football at Penn State. And you see that opportunity and the light starts clicking and everything's kind of going the way you want it. And then to have that happen to you, an injury at the time when I first did it, hey, you're going to be out the whole season, you know. And that was back before, you know, the red shirt rule with 4 games like they have now, back before medical things were so common where you could get extra year, and I just thought I was going to lose a year of football. So you know, that was probably one of the toughest times in my career, and ended up being one of the best years of my career, you know, with 2012. So the final games of the 2012 and 2013 series, the wins over Wisconsin, you know, obviously the 2012 win was unbelievable over time. In 2013, that was obviously my last game of football I ever played. We came in as 24-point underdogs and ended up winning the game, and it was a huge celebration in the locker room. That was our bowl game, and so that was a really, really cool moment, you know, because I was realistic. I knew kind of that was going to be it for a 6-foot center, you know. When I finished playing, I played in the 13th season for Coach O'Brien. When I got done, I was actually a graduate assistant for Coach Franklin for about 4 months as a recruiting GA. After about 4 months, I was offered the offensive line GA position at NC State University. Went there for 2 years. There I worked with some amazing coaches. Then after those 2 years, I spent 4 years at Western Illinois University. I went out there with a guy named Charlie Fisher, who was the quarterback's coach at Penn State when I played. And so he wanted to kind of run what we had ran at Penn State, asked me to come out there and be their O-line coach. So I did that for 2 years, and I was the co-offensive coordinator and assistant head coach for 2 years. And then I actually came back to Penn State as an offensive analyst and did that for a year with our O-line and tight ends, and then was promoted to the tight ends coach. I think one of the biggest things that's different is the level of support we're able to offer our student athletes. You know, like a lot of lettermen when we were there, we weren't given snacks and all this food. And I mean, now our nutrition is unbelievable. Our academic support's unbelievable. Our player personnel department that helps guys kind of, you know, start college and learn how to acclimate. You know, it was kind of like when we were dropped off, like, hey, here you go, figure it out. You know, and so we're able to give the guys a lot of resources from that aspect. The thing that I love that hasn't changed at Penn State is we're still recruiting the same quality student athlete where, you know, they are disciplined and take academic matters very seriously, take football very seriously, and hard workers. And so that hasn't changed, which I love about Penn State. And you know, so obviously there has been other changes and things, but I think those are the two things that kind of stick out to me.
Welcome back in.
Final one, man.
To the final segment of this year of the Blue White Players Show.
Been an awesome year, man.
Been a great year.
So you just saw the great Justin Kirpakis on there. He is the one of our main sponsors for the Letterman segment with Atlas Therapy. We very much want to thank him. I want to thank the Penn State Golf Courses. Just a reminder, the sledgehammers you've been hearing are guys golfing over here in the golf machines and
simulators.
Aeneas has now volunteered to go over into the simulator and take a drive.
Potentially foolishly.
You want to put this 911 call out right now to get him here quicker. So
I'm stretching under the table already. I'm concerned, but I'm all about a good challenge, Goon. So we're going to give it a run.
We want to thank Ciocca Motors, the Ciocca Dealerships, and the Lion Country Kia for all the sponsors throughout the year. We thank AJ Ray, Chris Pugliani, the man, Aeneas Hawkins. It's been awesome. It's been a fun time. Want to keep doing it next year, but before we get there, we got a big thing going on here on late December, Bubba.
No doubt about it. I'm hoping to see the Nittany Lions pull out a victory against Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin and the gang.
I mean, did you think? I mean, I'm looking at the matchups, and I'm like, how much like excitement do you think Oregon has to go play at Liberty?
None.
Right?
Not at all. They just want the season.
It's just like one of those things. It's like, wow, man, I can't believe that they. I mean, I understand the rules, and good job for Liberty. I mean, it's a great job for them.
Sure.
With Tulane losing, I mean, Tulane actually bought it last year. I mean, they played really well last year in their bowl game, but choked this past weekend. I noticed that because I was there. So, but I mean, this Ole Miss matchup.
Yep.
I wanted somebody with a name.
Yep.
And I think that Ole Miss brings that, especially Lane Kiffin. I sort of had a laugh when he did the chop yesterday.
Uh-huh.
That was pretty funny, man.
It was funny. It was
funny.
funny.
It was gamesmanship.
He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Now I will say, I think that's a good point. It's great to have bowl games that you think are going to be competitive. It's against another big name school. You know, I like Penn State to win the matchup.
Sure.
But I do think it's going to be a better one than people give it credit for. I think their offense does a good job. Lane Kiffin obviously is a heck of a ball coach and has done some good things. So it'll be interesting, man, to see how
it'll match up defense
out.
versus offense.
Strength on strength, good on good. So, you know, you can't ask for much else. And it gives James Franklin and company another opportunity at beating a good football team, a signature win for the year. Similar to Utah last year, I feel like.
Yeah,
so,
and then, you know, that kicks off this season. And, you know, everyone in there this year, I mean, the elephant in the room is, you know, can James beat a top 10 opponent? And that's like sort of been the bugaboo right now with Ohio State, Michigan. And now we have another opportunity to do that.
Another opportunity to do it.
But, you know, here's how it goes.
Okay.
So when we go out and beat Mississippi, then it's the SEC. They didn't want to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't really want to play.
Right.
But if they beat Penn State, then it's just better, man. The SEC is just better.
Blah, 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 blah.
So it's like a no-win situation type of thing, in my opinion. But I'm excited because we might be the first program in college football to win all 6 major bowls,
which would be huge.
That's a big thing. It really is. And then James, it'll be 4.
Yep.
He'd have 4 of the 6.
4 of the 6 by yourself.
And he's 51.
He's got a lot of time on the clock still if he wants it.
So he still would need the sugar and the orange, but
he could do it.
You know, this is our first Peach Bowl ever. We never played in the Peach Bowl before.
No, and I'm heading out there. You headed to the bowl game?
Nah.
Well, if you have any ideas for things to do in Atlanta, let me know. I'm looking for activities and things to do. The first one on my list right now is Waffle House. I don't know if you've been to a Waffle House, but I'm a big Waffle House guy. And not to get off on a tangent
you're happy
here,
to go to Atlanta, Georgia.
Listen, I cannot wait for a Waffle House visit. It is my favorite place in the world. If I do one thing on this planet, it's going to be bring a Waffle House to State College.
Smothered
and covered, baby. Come on, man. Grits, waffles, bacon, the whole 9 yards. I've been budgeting.
Hawks coming back here. You can be heavy again.
I'm going to be right back to 3 technical.
There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
That is the goal. In all seriousness, though, it's been a really good year. We've had some really good guests on, from Guy Godowski and Mike Rhodes to all the players and the Letterman that joined us, and our entire group here, Chris, AJ. I mean, top to bottom, been a fun year. Working alongside Keith Goon Conlon.
Yes, sir.
Is one of the highest honors and something I don't take lightly. So I appreciate you and all that you've done this year.
It is all fun and all games. I love doing it, and I can't wait to do it again next year,
Yes, sir. Stay with us. And to our viewers,
we don't know if we're gonna have a bowl preview or not, or a post bowl. We may jump up. You. We never know. You know, somebody may say, "Hey, you know what? You guys are good. Why don't you have one more show?"
Yeah, have a little more fun.
We never know. So everybody who tunes in, thank you guys very, very, very much.
Absolutely.
And let's go State, baby.
Let's go State. Hey, 1-0 for this bowl game, baby.
Absolutely, baby.
Go
on to the next season the right way. That's with the win, baby.
No doubt.
Peace. Take
care.
See
everybody.